Hey, everybody, welcome to the Known Zone. My name is Andy Haynes, and I'm joined by my consummate co-host, the Pinoy boy himself, young Tara Root Patty.
The sex, I almost said sex offender.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it, and oh, thank God.
The sex offender, Wilfred, me. I did it.
Did that not record? Damn, I really wanted him to say the sex offender. No worries. Thanks, Autumn.
Autumn fucking blows.
Whoa. Hey, everybody.
She didn't hear that. She doesn't have the cans on yet.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Known Zone. She's going to hear this in editing.
She's not going to edit this.
Of course she is. She's
just
our editor.
pretends.
Oh, she just puts it out raw. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Known Zone. I'm Andy Haynes, and I'm joined by my consummate co-host, the Pinoy boy, the young Tara Root Patty, a sex offender.
Yep, that's me.
Wilfred Padua. How you doing, Wilf?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
You know, I think we should start throwing more slurs just to test Autumn out.
Flip?
No, like real ones, real good ones.
That was calling you a flip.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better bleep that, Autumn, or I'm gonna.
Or you're going to cancel your co-host.
Yeah, I'm gonna cancel.
Look how
Andy.
offended he is.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Man, I'm sorry for othering you just then.
Yeah.
He might flip out.
Yeah. Shut up, you dago.
Hey, we're gonna
Actually, no,
bleep that
you're
one
not a
too.
dago. You're a Mick.
I'm a Mick, dude.
Yeah, that's right.
Canon is Mick?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
At least that's what they told me.
Really? I didn't-
You got something else in there.
Definitely.
Though.
There's like somewhere down the line.
Long Island, Staten.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I'm from
kinda-
Levittown.
Hold
That's
on,
where my
let's-
father's from.
Yeah.
Our guest, the can man himself.
The can
That's
man.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
A nickname
Michael-
Wilfred is pushing on me.
Michael
Daddy
Hey, buddy. How
I
are
wish
you?
I went by Michael.
Yeah.
That would have been a
mean,
prudent choice.
Think about if I went Andrew instead of Andy.
Sky's the limit, dude.
I'd be calling Jost right now.
I just feel like anytime I'm in a festival lineup and I'm clumped in with the other 4,000 white mics,
Yeah.
it really makes me regret my decision.
Yeah. White Mike is like that's a
thing.
pretty easy to get.
Well, I have a unique name, and it hasn't really helped my career, so
No?
we're fine. I think we're all doing fine.
They already had an FX show with
Yeah,
your name.
I know.
What
I
are they
know.
gonna do,
That
two?
really bummed me the fuck out when that came out. I was like, oh, it's just in Australia. That's totally fine. It's not going to come over. And then it came over. And now,
You know what bummed me out about those years was they just put shows on and nobody watched them, but they just put them on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hmm?
Like that show was on for like 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And nobody watched it
Yeah.
ever. And they were just like, yeah, we're trying to do comedy now. And you're like, well, give it to me. You know, like actually do means testing.
Yeah.
Wasn't that kind of during like the alternative boom also though when like
It was
kind
like
of
the post alternative.
yeah, when
boom.
like the less people that liked something, the cooler it was somehow.
They definitely liked, yeah, they
Like, it
definitely
had a
liked
mystique
that.
about it if it sucked.
Well, there was like a whole thing, I think, like in that time where they were just like, if Silver Lake likes it, it's
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
And everybody in the country was like, this is dog shit. And they're like, but Williamsburg and
Bushwick is into it.
Bushwick,
right.
Williamsburg, Wicker Park.
They're still like that, though. The whole industry still thinks the entire world is Bushwick.
No, but I think they're kind of, they need money so bad. That's like half of what this strike thing's about.
But don't you think of it as a troll now? I don't know. The way I look at it, when I think that they think everybody's Bushwick, I think that they know most people hate Bushwick.
Yeah.
But the people in Bushwick do a lot of the computing. So they will fight the people that hate, somehow boosting this attention.
I think it's all over though, because what it happened was everybody did the Tim, Andrew, whatever, you know, I'm going to just do my own media stuff.
Right.
And it's so much more popular than anything they're doing that they're
100%.
coming back to it. And pretty soon we're going to have like the Tim Dillon white nationalism hour. And
on CBS.
it's going to be a good show. I'll watch every
watch
episode
the
of
shit
it.
out of that.
Yeah.
But
I'll be
yeah,
a field producer.
think definitely.
Yeah.
In a second. Speaking of white nationalism, did you guys spend the weekend watching the Alabama dogfight?
No.
You haven't watched the Alabama dogfight?
What is that?
Oh my God.
I've just been watching that Arsenal game. Oh, we beat Man City.
Yeah.
And so I've been watching
Congrats.
it over and over.
It was a
over
good
again.
game. It was a good game. Autumn, can you pull up Alabama Alabama dock fight?
I can't believe this hasn't even crossed your radar.
This is
Oh man, this is. Yeah, I feel I'm jealous
dock.
of you.
Sorry, not dog. That brawl, Alabama brawl works. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go to.
There's 3 good videos.
Go to video.
What?
Yeah, it's dude. It feels like you're in a fucking VR fist fight. It's
20
nuts.
minutes?
Yeah, that's the longer one. There's better videos that I'll show you that we don't have to watch
On
live.
Twitter.
There's like there's some ones where like black guys are narrating it too. So what happened was this black dock worker, basically these rednecks showed up in a pontoon boat, parked their dock, and he was like, you can't park their boat. And he was like, you can't park here. And then they just were like, fuck you, we don't care. And so he moved their boat away. Like he just like untied it and like kind of moved it down the dock or put it somewhere. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But then they all started beating up this black guy, and he he basically held off like 6 drunk white guys. But he did this thing where he went like this and then threw his hat in the air, and I don't know what it meant, but literally like 40 black guys came and rescued him, and eventually it was just the white family, including the women, all getting beaten up by a group of like 40.
But the good news is now white people know the sign for fastball.
Yeah.
So anytime a black person throws their hat in the air and sticks their arms up, just run.
Yeah, you should get the fuck out of there. There's literally a black guy that is on the opposite side of the river that swims across the river and
awesome.
beats up some of the people.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. And there's
They
like
were calling him Michael B. Phelps.
yeah.
they had so many amazing
I saw
nicknames for this guy.
Aquaman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah, it's really it was really swift justice. There's also some really extracurricular shit at the end where this guy gets a little chair happy and he just starts blasting people that are actually involved in the physical fight, and then the very end he just takes it to the neck of an overweight white woman.
Yes.
Like
Whoa.
just right to her neck while she's sitting down on the dock already beaten, and as he comes up with the chair the cops are like, well, come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's just too much.
But it's funny, man. They're just it doesn't even, it's not the kind of getting your ass beat where you're like, oh, come on, give them a break. It's like every single hit is enjoyable.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like they just like separate, and just women are fighting women and men are fighting men, and the men are all like sunburnt and don't have shirts on, and they just keep on getting like thrown off the dock.
Just being slapped on the back.
It's
ow.
It's also like, you know, we see people that are, when you watch fights, you see people that are capable of fighting all the time. You know, you
Yeah.
watch fights on TV, but it's weird when you watch people who clearly like
Nobody knows how to fight.
knows how to fight, but they all like the similarities between like sea lions and walruses clashing like for supremacy on the beach. It is so similar
Yeah.
to how they also clashed.
Yeah, almost nobody's in shape. It's great. It's such a good watch. You can spend hours doing it.
Oh, right.
And there's somewhere it's like narrated and like,
Well, I guess I know what I'm doing
Edited.
tonight.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. It
It's
is-
so
I'm just gonna
fun.
fall asleep to white people getting their ass kicked.
It's great.
I was on my way here. There was a guy. I was hoping to tell you guys this before the podcast because there's 2 slurs that are involved in this.
Oh, wow.
On my way here, there's a black dude gets on the train and he's got the bucket with the snare with the sticks because he's going to be drumming on the train. Puts it on, and then he's got like a JBL speaker in it, and he just looks at his phone, presses play, like loud music starts playing, and everyone's looking at him. And then there's just like, pretty sure he was like autistic. This guy right next to me who was like looking at him, and he was like, Autumn, you're gonna have to bleep this part.
Can you
Make
just
note
say
of
the
the time.
initial?
He said, what are you looking at? And he's like,
The
"Why are-"
drummer said that to the autistic kid or
Yeah.
the
And
autistic?
he said, why are all you
Wow.
N-words so gay? And then he left. He just left.
He just didn't play?
He didn't drum. He just
Wow. Played music?
he just played music and then he left.
That's
And
kind
then-
of a good one. I like that.
I also like it because it seems divisive, but it's actually 2 cultures coming together over homophobia.
Yeah.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, white people and gays together.
They're autistic whites.
Oh,
Yeah.
autistic whites.
Autistic
gay
Autistic
whites.
whites, gays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and black drummers. They both called each other anti-gay slurs, right?
Oh, yeah. No,
I
no,
love
no.
it.
No,
No,
No, the
black
drummer
guys-
just called the guy both
the black guy
things.
said everything.
Oh.
But it was fun. I
Yeah.
like it.
I see what you're hoping for.
Yeah,
but
I was hoping for the same thing.
yeah, didn't happen.
Okay, well, We remain divided.
Yeah.
I love anytime.
The gays and the autists.
I love anytime there's like a casual kind of just owning of somebody, just like when somebody just does some silly shit and they get called out for it on the train, even if it's kind of got a tinge of hate in it, where it's just, especially if it's not like a white guy saying it, if it's just like somebody just.
This was a situation though where because he was black, no one on the train said anything.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, okay, he can. What we know what the history.
No,
is
it's like how the blogs stay away from hip hop. It's the same thing. It's protected speech in that sense.
Sexism is not cool everywhere else.
Yeah.
I had this beautiful subway moment where I was like, this is maybe 2008 or 9. I'm coming back from DC. I'd smoked a bunch of weed right before I'd gotten on the megabus. Yeah. So I was like really high when I got off, and I'm like getting on the 1, 2, 3 or whatever from Penn Station. Is that where the megabus drops you off? Kind of like around there.
I think so.
Anyways, there's like a old black guy who's like homeless. He's like got scrap metal, and I'm just high, so I'm just like standing there, and I guess I'm blocking the door, and he starts yelling at me, and I'm like, fuck. And then the door's shut. And he's like, has to like drag all his scrap metal onto the train, like, but the doors are trying to close on him. And the whole time he's yelling at me, and I'm high. So I'm just eventually like, come on, man, relax. I didn't see you there. Like, that's all I say. But it was a call to arms on his part. And he like eventually gets all his metal on, and then it's time to beat me up. And it's like an elderly man, but he's probably going to win. Just because I'm not going to fight a homeless elderly. Yeah. And so he starts like taking off of his shirt to get ready to beat me up. And I'm just like, all right, I'll just walk to the other end of the train.
What was the point of that? I feel like that
give you
happens
nothing to grab on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's just full skin on skin. It's really hard fighting somebody with no shirt, actually. It's a pain in the ass.
Tell me about it. Me and my wife every night.
just gelled up, so you just glance off each other.
How do you think she got pregnant? Just put down the tarp and we went at it.
Yeah, she got pregnant because you won.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like basically getting ready to punch me. He's like walking after me down the train car, and there's like 5 black teens at the opposite end of the train car, and I'm like, oh fuck, like what's are they gonna just make fun of me while I get beat up? And they all just go up to the homeless guy and they're like, hey man, let him be.
Wow.
And it was like, just it should have been like a commercial for like the small things matter type of one of those PSAs. Yeah.
They're like, can't you see, sir? He is blind high.
Yeah.
He cannot defend himself.
He's very scared right now. He's 31 years old and he's high out of his mind. So that was a learning moment.
I like that. I don't miss that. I don't miss riding the A train at like 3 a.m. back to Crown Heights and having guy with scabs on his knuckles shadow box 8 inches from my face, and I have to make a determination whether I initiate contact or run.
Late night trains could get so sketchy.
They suck, dude.
Yeah,
it's
Crown
really,
Heights especially.
Yeah, and I mean, for the most part, it was fine and actually like moderately joyous. Like there were like a lot of nights that were very fun and kind of community oriented on the train. Like people would be like drinking what are the firecrackers? And like or nutcrackers and like whatever. It was just not a problem. But then there would be nights where you'd be either one of 6 people on an entire train and the other 4 or 5 people were just fucking potential.
That's why you gotta
assailants.
find a 20-year-old girl and be like, she's gonna get attacked first.
You just trip her right in front of her.
I love those situations though where it's like a group of it happens on the L all the time where everybody's like just a white Brooklyn artist, and then one crazy person gets on, and even though there's 70 of us, we can't do anything about the crazy person. Everybody's like, all right, just let him just spin kick at us.
But that does make me feel powerful having that many like kind of betas to push in front of to sacrifice.
Get him. You're tough.
You remember that there's that
You're wearing Carhartt?
There's that one time you and I were riding the train and there's that girl that was like completely passed out. Do you remember this?
No.
This was back when we lived together. There's this girl that was like completely passed out.
You guys live together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, I gotta wake her up. I gotta be a good guy. So I like shook her awake, and then Andy was actually, you were going to go see like whoever you're dating, and so you got off the train before me, I was like, fuck, now I'm alone with this girl.
Oh yeah,
that I have to deal
Now
with.
you have to care for her.
It was
Yeah.
probably the evil Australian. That's probably
I think
who it
so.
was. Yeah.
And then everyone on the train, like now they're like, oh, okay, I guess we'll help now. And this girl was like, can I trust her with you? And I was like, you shouldn't.
Yeah, what?
You can, but you
but
shouldn't.
you shouldn't at all.
I promise not to be bad.
But then I took her. I got her off the train. She was trying to go back to like Delancey, Essex. We were in Brooklyn.
Jesus.
And so I walked her over to the other side of the platform. And then later I found out that she was probably the safest on the train.
Oh, really?
Because, like, there are cameras and all that shit.
Yeah.
Where I just, like, brought her to, like, one of the sketchiest, like, intersections of Brooklyn.
Yeah. Myrtle Broadway.
Myrtle Broadway fucking stinks. And then I, like, just left her on a platform. I was like, I'm not waiting. Sorry.
I knew that Myrtle Broadway was bad because I moved there in 2008 and I was like, just had nothing to do. I was watching the movie Ghost and the guy who kills Patrick Swayze, Mickey Wales, that's his train stop. Is Myrtle Broadway, and I was like, "Oh, I live in a bad place."
Yeah.
Oh, in Crown Height, right?
Bedside.
Bushwick,
Because
Bedside.
he was on Prospect Place, and that was like he was like 3 blocks away from where I lived.
Yeah, they made him get off at Myrtle Broadway.
Yeah.
I think he cheated over to
That's
the
so
troop.
funny. Was he the comic, or was the other guy the comic, the white bad guy?
I think
Or
he
the
was a
Spanish
comic.
guy?
The Spanish guy was a
Okay,
comic.
okay,
yeah.
I knew one of them was
And I
an
think he
actual comedian
died,
of
like-
HIV or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Having too much fun
In the movie or in
No, in life.
IRL?
in
Oh,
real
really?
life. Yeah,
That movie rules.
yeah, that's a good movie.
Ghost?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it in a while.
Well, it's out there.
Yeah. I watched
Man,
it by
I got
accident.
a big night ahead of me.
Like, you ever see a movie where me and my buddy Timmy were hanging out? It's like, all we did was play basketball outside, but then on days when it would rain,
Yeah.
we'd watch movies for 10 hours
And
a
it was
day.
just what was on.
And it was
you
on
just had to
HBO.
change the channel
Yeah.
till it was on.
And it was on, and we kind of got sucked into it immediately. I don't know how we did, but we both sat there.
It was the palpable love between
Dude,
Demi
we were
and
like
Patrick.
11 and 12 years old and just kind of like sweetly watching this stupid movie.
Oh, wow.
And afterwards, we were both like, that movie was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, we both
I would have
loved it.
been too no homo to enjoy that at
Yeah.
the age of 12.
I don't know. Maybe we had some secret thing.
Even
for
though
each
you
other.
were pretty homo.
I was pretty homo, but
Yeah.
I would have been like, yo, pause, Patrick Swayze.
Quit being a ceramicist.
Yeah. See, we thought ghosts were super cool. So
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up, I was born in New York City. For the first 9 years of my life, I grew up right outside of West Point in Fort Montgomery. It kind of a weird town. It's almost like,
I think we had breakfast there.
yeah, you may have. It's like Highland Falls, Fort Montgomery, right there, right outside of West
Remember
Point.
when we went up to whatever the like art place is that people
Storm King.
Yeah,
Storm
Storm
King,
King
yeah.
with Evan.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we had breakfast.
We did, me and Evan did mushrooms at Storm King. And
That's a good time to do it.
Well, I lost all ability to communicate, and and they wanted to go on a hike, and I really wanted to lay on a hill and watch the clouds.
Yeah.
But I couldn't communicate that, so I just got dragged along.
Damn.
Yeah, it was
That's when
pretty
you
funny.
just lay down like a dog and try to. They just try to drag
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
but yeah, you don't let them.
No. Nope.
So then you move. Where do you go
Then
to high
I
school?
lived in Rockland County, so I lived in Blauvelt. Went to Tappan Zee High School.
And then that's also your wife.
Yeah,
you
she-
met her in high school.
No, we met in 5th grade. We were neighbors.
What?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
cute.
Well, fifth grade we met on like the bus line. She was wearing a Charlotte Hornets starter jacket,
Hell
pullover.
yes,
Yeah,
hell
I
yes.
remember being like,
That's a keeper.
I love Grandmama. I'm gonna finger that girl one day. And then the next
Finger
year,
her till a baby comes out.
that's right. That's right.
He
That's
didn't know how it worked.
definitely what I
Yeah.
thought. And then the next year, like we were boyfriend girlfriend. You know how kids like assign each other boyfriends and girlfriends. We were that in 5th grade. We hugged. I think we broke up at one
Ooh.
point. And then
Was
6th
it a good
grade,
hug?
it was a good hug. I mean, I was boned up
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
Potent 5th grade erections. You could like move a couch with
Yeah.
those things. They're like they're bullet
Hang a
stiff.
parka on it.
And then she moved into my like literally I was 262, she was 264.
Oh,
she moved
shit.
next door to me the next summer. And then we became like best friends, dated, I guess kind of 6th, 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade we dated, 10th grade we dated, and then we off and on all this shit. And then we didn't date until 2008, but we'd kind of come back and hook up.
Did
all
you
the
guys
time.
lose your V cards to each other?
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, 15.
That's so
Man.
cute.
Yeah.
That's a great story. But that's
Yeah.
also like my cousins and my older
It's only a
brothers.
great story because we've each like explored the world.
Yeah.
I think it would be slightly mentally ill if we were like just fucking
Yeah, anytime
that
you meet
codependent.
somebody who's like, yeah, this is the only person I've ever had sex with. I
Well,
met him when I was
This is
16.
this is not the only dick in your life, Dick.
Connor McNutt has only had sex with his fiance and
Yeah.
vice versa, and
Really?
they but for them it's like
You mean the
They're-
angriest guy in the world? You mean that rage monster that we're buddies with? Is this the example
the
you're
guy
using?
that goes and lifts weights when he feels anger.
Yeah, the guy who just drinks beer and lifts weights.
Damn
yeah.
right.
No, but they've only had sex with each other, and it's like they're just like, yeah, I guess she fucking rules, so I might as
Yeah.
well just stay with
Yeah.
her.
I mean, it can be
Might as
good.
well just stay with her. A
They
true
also
love
don't
story.
live in Nebraska, so
What do you mean?
I mean, like they're living lives. They're moving around the country. They're doing
Right.
cool shit. You know, shit
I
like
would
that.
say that it is way harder and probably more admirable to like be in that situation in New York where
Mm.
you see like braless ladies every day.
Oh man, it's a nightmare.
But I think what you just said is kind of key because, like, I think my parents certainly didn't. I can only assume what their parents did, but they didn't like really live a life. Their only plan was to get married and have kids.
Yeah,
Like there was no ambition to travel or to even have fun.
yeah.
There was just ambition to get married and have
Get
kids.
comfortable right away.
Yeah, but now it's like my wife and I, we waited for a long time, and also we got married, but I'm a traveling comic. She has her own business. So we make the most of this. Like we're true partners in the sense that we're going through life together.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
just like going home to each other.
What's her business?
She owns a floral design company.
Oh,
She
shout it
did
out.
the
Let's-
she did the floral design for my baby shower yesterday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Buds of Brooklyn.
Oh,
Yeah,
Very, very good.
which I
very
didn't get
good work.
invited to.
you were
I
supposed to
couldn't
be
come.
invited. Did you not get invited?
I just said that
I didn't do any of the invitations.
I know who it was.
It was my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
She probably just put the kibosh on it.
Yeah,
I'm
which
sorry.
one?
Mary Stewart.
Mary Stewart,
Mary Stewart didn't invite me.
the
No.
lesbo.
She said specifically no Asians.
Yeah,
God damn.
there weren't any Asians.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. Not a single Asian.
yeah.
You know
You
how
said
many
not since
Asians there are in
2020.
the world?
that's their
Not
news.
one of us?
You couldn't invite one single
Yeah.
Asian.
Not even one of the good ones. Like Xi Jinping couldn't make it.
the new Cambodian dictator was
Yeah.
there. We had
Gary
Michelle
Locke or
Wu.
whatever. Yeah.
Michelle Wu, the famous golfer.
We.
Yeah.
Michelle Wee.
Michelle Wu was there for
Mhm.
no reason. We
Uh-huh.
were like, we had to get an
Yeah,
Asian.
Christy Yamaguchi.
The guy who invented Bitcoin was there.
Oh yeah, that's Jack Ma something.
No, it's he's got a very Japanese name.
But you
It's
know
like,
who's that
Jack
guy?
Ma is the guy who created Alibaba.
What's Alibaba?
Yeah, Satoshi Nakamoto.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that is a
Oh.
full cell phone.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Satoshi Nakamoto sounds like a cell phone
Oh
company.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cell phone and a car company.
Dude, click on this image for Dorian Nakamoto.
That's a motorcycle. That's also a cell phone.
Look at that dude.
Man, Dorian.
What if this guy was how mad would you have been if this dude was at my baby shower?
Just all the girls around him.
Just Marie and Sydney on his lap.
I just feel like if this guy were to speak to me, he'd like lose faith in people.
Yeah.
Like that's how smart he is. You know
Oh,
what
yeah,
I mean?
That's
Like
how I feel.
yeah, like if he just had a conversation with me, he'd be like, "Fuck, dude! Like, I gotta
Yeah.
figure out how to connect to the dummies."
So let's get to the topic.
Do you know that we talk about a topic?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I prepped him a little.
He did.
All right.
I
starting to
I looked
get
up
together.
some details.
We're on like episode like 18 or something like that. So we're starting to, kind of get some
We're trying
shape
to
to
figure out
this.
what it's like to like prep a guest.
Do you have one podcast?
I do so far. Yeah. But
It's here's the
here's the
scenario.
scenario.
And do you guys set it up at the beginning?
We do. We're idiots. You guys are smart. You've already started having guests. Like we were like, this show will sell itself. Our popularity will
Well, you're
grow
not
for-
wrong because there's like a million podcasts where they all, they make like a BMW once a month.
Right. But that's
and
like
it's just like three guys hanging out saying vaguely racist things.
Yeah, I know. And we're saying specifically racist
Yeah,
things.
you guys are going full Long Island.
Any attention. Yeah, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
The Governor's, it's sponsored by Governor's Comedy Club. Yeah. Here's this scenario. Kind of fun. Oh, but so what we do is basically like people think I'm smart because I have like an autistic knowledge of so many things where I don't actually, I can't tell you how to make money, be charismatic, anything important.
It's your cadence too, though. Your cadence is so measured and confident that it sounds like everything you're saying is a fact.
Yeah, I'm good at that, but it's all just Snapple facts that just stay in there, like the toothpick counting of Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man. But it's been my whole life. So people are like, oh, he's pretty smart. And it's just literally memorizing. So what we do is we unpack a different.
And I'm actually smart.
Are you?
Like I'm very smart.
That's awesome.
Not at all. I think he got like a 940 on his SATs.
That's no, it was like an 1150, I think.
That's pretty good.
But I did cheat. So
one of my buddies copied like 2 out of the however many sections we had to do just straight off of my paper, and he ended up like getting just enough to where he got into college for football.
What'd you get?
I got a 13 some.
Jesus
13,
Christ,
that's
10,
good.
I think
because you got the same.
I got a 13. Yeah.
Yeah, I got an 1170, I think, and
it's not bad.
No, that's
but
not bad at all.
I straight up cheated because there was like our.
I think like 11 to 13 is like good state school.
Yeah.
Anything below that is like.
Yeah, but I think you also needed like a 3.6 GPA to get into like University of Washington.
Yeah, UW was hard. Where'd you go?
I went to Rockland Community College first because my parents lost all their money in the 08 or 03 and then again 08
.com bubble burst,
all that shit. Yeah, my dad was a stockbroker. So my sister went to IU. I went to 2 years of RCC to play basketball and to also save money. Then I went to Geneseo, and in Geneseo my
Jesuit school.
No, it's SUNY.
Okay.
It's the Ivy of the SUNYs, but
Right.
That's what every SUNY says.
Yeah. But like I tried really hard.
That's the Ivy of community colleges.
I was in the honors program of RCC, which like people go to Ivy League from that stuff. So I had like a 3.93. I was really focused. Then I went away to school. My parents got a divorce. A bunch of my friends were dying. My dog died. My grandpa died, and then so I just like
opioids.
No, all drunk driving mostly, and then cancer.
That's
weirdly,
easy in
young
Rockland
cancer.
County.
Yeah,
all those little roads.
Constant. Yeah, 9Ws.
Everyone makes excuses though. So
yeah, get your act together, fellas. Do a 2 to blow like a man.
Come on. So, anyways, today's topic is let me back this up. I noticed a long time ago that you were wearing the Lithuania 1994 Olympics basketball T-shirt,
Yes.
not the actual jersey.
No, T-shirt.
And if you didn't know this, Wilfred, Lithuania, the first time they're independent, they get into the Olympics for basketball, and the Grateful Dead sponsors their
what?
Yeah, the Grateful Dead sponsors their team with merch. All proceeds from their merch goes towards supporting the team in the Olympics.
Oh.
And there's like a bunch of T-shirts and things, but specifically a very iconic one, which is a skeleton wearing the Lithuania basketball team.
Can I see? Can you?
It's a
bring this
great
up?
shirt.
Yeah,
So is this shirt like probably one that you can resell for like $8,000?
No, I got a replica of it, but the real one's
probably
real
like
ones go for a ton.
$800.
Yeah,
or something.
but
like
I got
LITH.
I got hip to the shirt from Jonah Hill.
And then
Oh, that sucks.
I know it does suck.
Grateful Dead. Just right.
I hate that.
Yeah, there it is. Top one.
That is like when I learn about a song on TikTok.
right there.
It feels bad that
that's
I
a
am no
great-
longer hip.
Great comp. That's
You know?
exactly what it is.
So
that's
this is
so
it.
tight.
That's a replica.
Yeah, that's what I have.
It's 1992, so it was like right when they were kind of
That's against
allowed.
the Dream Team.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Same one.
they didn't do well.
Which is crazy because they're also like.
Actually, they got 9.
This is kind of a perfect time to bring back this story too, because I think it was the Jamaican women's soccer team, right? Like they haven't qualified or made it past the opening
You're
round
talking
of
about
the women's.
Filipino.
Is it? It's not
Philippines.
Jamaica.
Philippines never qualified until this year.
No, but Jamaica made it back to the World Cup,
And they
this
didn't
year,
have
too.
money, and then they
Yeah.
had to get like some.
they had to do a GoFundMe.
a GoFundme
Yeah.
or something like that. where it's like this story should have been kind of recycled because they acted kind of like it was the first time in major sports history that this has happened. And it's like, no, a lot of fucking poor countries can't afford to send their teams.
They got to do an Untold about this.
Every band has to sponsor a third world country.
That's right.
Yeah.
Recently independent, so that they can play basketball.
Wouldn't that suck if you were like, oh God, we got sponsored by Maroon 5? Fuck.
Oh, fuck.
I mean,
Hades sponsored by Maroon 5.
Isn't there one prominent Jamaican like artist that could do one show, make 150 grand from it, and just give it to
way
the
more
team?
than that?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It doesn't make sense that Jamaica, the country, I don't think has such a low GDP they couldn't support it. It's just probably the government's like, women's soccer,
Women.
rumba clot,
Batis over there.
yeah, pussy hole. Sorry, I spent a lot of time in East London this year.
Dude, I used to caddy and just hung out with Jamaicans for a full summer, playing 7-card stud. Great.
There's actually there's a white guy on TikTok that just walks around the Jamaican neighborhoods doing perfect patois, and it's so funny.
Is he the guy that actually speaks that way, and then everyone's like, "This guy's faking it"?
Chet Hanks.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay,
yeah. That's who it is. But anyway, so I'm not going to do the Lithuanian basketball team. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Berlin Wall today. And the Berlin Wall, the reason why I bring it up is the Berlin Wall actually, as it fell, the Lithuania independence movement was one of the reasons why it fell. And so I just, can't just talk about Lithuania for 30 minutes. Come on.
I'm excited for the details of this because I have the vague story, obviously, and like the things that happened as a result of World War I, but I don't know like the specifics.
Like World War II is the actual war that you should be mentioning.
Didn't the wall and the division happen because as a result of World War I? Like
Two.
It was really?
Yeah.
Sounds like you're dumb.
Sounds like I am.
But you're not that far off because it was only 10 years after World War I that World War II happened.
Let him be dumb. He's a fucking dumbass, and we don't respect him
He's
anymore.
a Guido-looking Mick. The Berlin Wall separated the Federal Republic of Germany from the German Democratic Republic, which was East Germany, which was part of the Soviet Union, from 1961 to 1989. The separation came before that. So when the Allied forces beat the Nazis, Berlin was the capital of Germany, and they divided it into 4 quadrants. It was the UK, the British quadrant, the American quadrant, the French quadrant, and the Russian quadrant. And the Russians just eventually, through geopolitics, were like, actually, we're like not going to fuck with you guys. So West Berlin became West Berlin, which was like all the Allied parties. And then East Germany and East Berlin became the Iron Curtain. So
is Berlin like all the way on one side of
Yes,
Germany?
it's very weird. Can you show this is the craziest thing I learned about it just a couple years ago. Put Berlin in GDR. Okay, maybe go to that green and orange one down there. Berlin is that far into the GDR. So
wow.
Do you see that little bubble in the green part?
Yeah.
So that's like, it was in the middle of East Germany. There was just a corridor that went into Berlin that you could drive along. Like it was basically just like a 40-mile just like road with like barbed wire and guys with machine guns on either side of you.
Yeah.
And then sometimes the Russians would be like, hey, you guys can't drive in right now. We don't like you. And so West Berlin would just be completely isolated. There was actually like a thing where like Stalin tried to do this thing called the Berlin blockade. And so nothing was coming in and out, and people started to like starve, and they didn't have basic necessities. So there's this thing called the airlift where all the Allied forces would just fly in, drop stuff, fly out. It was basically like it could have started a war.
That's like Top Gun Maverick shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Top Gun Maverick, the next one.
Mm-hmm.
He time travels and goes back, and he has to fly a biplane into divided Berlin and Germany.
He goes back and he's like, I'm not going to kill Hitler. I just want to drop off some food.
Yeah. Yeah. It was it's pretty weird. I was just there. I was just in Berlin, and I like did the Berlin Wall tour. And I think we like kind of think of the Berlin Wall as like this we just think of it as this like cool spray painted thing, but we don't really take into the fact that like, so basically I'll tell you guys what happened was in 1949, the USSR creates the Eastern Bloc. So that's, basically how we get the Soviet Union. And then basically overnight at one point, I think it was like 1960, there'd been laws about traveling back and forth. But just one night they were like, actually, it's cut off. You can't go back and forth. Like all these people in East Berlin were like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, you're now citizens of the USSR, basically.
Yeah.
And so they just
Imagine
woke up
if you
one
were
day.
sleeping over at your buddies.
And all of a sudden you're Russian.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck?
I just wanted to watch Ghost with my buddy. And I'm a fucking Russian?
Yeah, you were stuck. But here's the funny thing. They imposed like a travel ban at first. So at first it was just you couldn't go back and forth. But they hadn't shut down the subway. So the subway still went to East Germany. So you couldn't drive into West Germany, but you could still just cake the subway into West Germany.
So you
and they were like, oh man, we forgot about the subway.
A cheaper, more affordable way in.
Yeah.
We're so dumb.
So people were just like, yeah, I'll take the subway.
How long did that last, though? Did they shut it down eventually?
Like a year.
Oh, so the whole year,
they were like, well, we
it.
can't shut down the subway.
Yeah.
It's like our only way to get around.
Yeah.
So when they did that, though, were they then providing supplies to Berlin? Like, were they actually feeding their people, or was this
The
year-long?
GDR?
Yeah.
The GDR took care of itself. And you could also go from East Berlin anywhere into the Soviet Union.
Okay.
So you could go the Soviet side of things, the Eastern Germany was like pretty stable. Now it's like the poor part. It's like the south of Germany, because it was neglected as far as development goes.
That's where Khabib's from, just wrestling bears at fucking 6.
No, he's actually from Chechnya, I think.
Oh yeah, that's
or
right.
Dagestan, which
Dagestan.
is like one of the scariest places on earth. The Russians just flattened an entire city to get there.
Oh, wait, hold on. What's the green in that map?
Eastern Germany.
And is Eastern Germany still part of Germany?
No, they're divided. So West Germany's the orange, East Germany's the green, but the East Germany is part of the Soviet Union. So on the right you see Poland, and right below it is the Czech Republic.
Okay, but now Germany is what?
Orange and green. They're the same country.
Oh, all of that is Germany.
Yeah.
You just know that stuff off rip? Like, you just looked at that? Nod.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty great, man.
Yeah.
I was always super dumb geographically.
It's like one of the ones. I'm pissed. I saw Jeff Asmuth has this clip where it's him just yelling out world capitals, and I was like, I know all the world capitals.
Like DeStefano has a similar thing.
Yeah, I was like, I know all this stuff. Just because I didn't get pussy, I can't be a smart guy.
Do you have anything that you're smart about, like that?
No,
I didn't mean
not
that
really.
in such a condescending way.
Emotions. I'm emotionally intelligent.
Oh, really?
I'm caring.
That's such a better thing to have.
Yeah.
The knowledge of world capitals.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can teach your son how to love.
I think that is honestly the only place where my intelligence goes.
Mhm.
Is trying to figure out my emotional state, other people's emotional state, interpersonal relationships.
You can read a person pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that. I mean, I played poker and that was my strong suit, is I could kind of read people. But
This guy's sad.
sadness leads to over-aggressive play. I call.
They're like, you're not supposed to say this out loud. Loses every hand. Just narrating it.
Yeah. That'd be funny if you're autistic for emotions.
But one thing to say about East Berlin is that it before they put the wall up, here's why they put the wall up. It was fine to go back and forth. People were going home to East Berlin, but eventually, because the West Berlin was getting all the Western money and developing and stuff, people didn't want to live in East Berlin. And so the intelligentsia, the young people all just started 3.5 million people left Eastern Germany before they shut the wall, because they were like, I don't want to fucking live in the Soviet Union.
Did they hear about it? Or that was just the subway thing? They just all...
It was before they even stopped travel between the two.
Okay, so they saw it coming. They saw that they were
just people were leaving. Nobody wanted to stay in the GDR. There were some people that...
Those are all the people that would go to Canada when Trump won.
Yeah, exactly.
You fucking nothing happened. We're still the same.
Yeah, at least they actually left.
Yeah.
Like they followed
none
their
of these
word.
people ever fucking leave, losers.
Yeah,
but
Lena Dunham should be like a fucking Vancouver resident by now.
I'm actually surprised she's not. That kind of seems like something she would do for attention.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
she hit on me one time.
Oh.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
slid into my DMs
No
and said,
kidding.
"I'm a big fan of your comedy," and I was like, "No, you're not. You have not watched a second of my comedy." Anyways, shouldn't be telling stories out of school. But yeah, so they
He's
at first,
embarrassed because they banged.
no,
That's the
And
real
he's
story.
the father of her child.
Yeah.
That's the real story. It's reversed. Andy said, "I'm a fan of your comedy."
Yeah. And it was all to get
You're the voice of a
bleachers tickets.
generation.
You're such a genius. Oh my god. Can I hang out with you?
Yeah.
I love that anecdote about spreading your sister's lips.
Oh god. Oh, that's so creepy.
Yeah.
Oh god, gross. But yeah, so they like at first they put up just like checkpoints and kind of like barbed wire and stuff.
Mhm.
And that was like the first intonation of it. But like one of the first documented cases of escape from Eastern Germany is just one of the guards just running and jumping over the barbed wire. There's a picture of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this guy, what's his name? Hold on, I'll find it. It's pretty funny. Konrad Schaumann. He was a German he was an East German police officer, and he just ran and jumped over.
Fuck yeah.
And as soon as you're over, you're good.
Look at that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they were like, rats.
We didn't think about that. We got to
Yeah.
make these higher.
It literally every single thing that happens through the Berlin Wall's creation and destruction is all literally people going, "Oh fuck, we didn't think about that." Like the subway thing.
Yeah.
They were like literally like, "Oh man, you can leave on the subway? I didn't even think about that."
What? They're digging holes? We got to make harder ground over there.
Yeah. No, there's like I guess where's this
Oh,
number?
speaking of which, I feel like you guys would love this movie. Have you both seen Victory?
No.
What's that?
No? Oh my God, you'd both love this movie. It's about football, but it's a World War II soccer movie. Pele's in it, Michael Caine's in
Oh.
it, Sylvester Stallone is in it, Max von Sydow, and a bunch of pro soccer players.
What is Sylvester Stallone play?
He plays an American.
He plays Pele.
He plays he plays Pele. It's controversial because he does go full blackface.
Yeah.
But he doesn't change his accent. But no, he plays the goalkeeper who he inevitably
For the
becomes
USA.
for the prisoners. So they play prisoner of war in World War II concentration camp
Versus the Germans.
Oh,
nice.
And it's cool, and they're like planning an escape midway through the game.
What is Pele supposed to be? A prisoner of war from Brazil?
I think from Africa, but I don't know where. I don't know how that really worked.
I mean,
They
I guess
said
it was 1981, and no one could tell the difference between the accents.
I think he said he served for he
Yeah.
served for France or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, and then they took him in. Yeah, it was murky.
All right. Well, that's some homework that we
It's
can
an
do.
awesome
I want to
movie,
see that
though.
movie. But I mean, also something that's crazy about this is the Americans fucked up a little too because
No, never.
yeah, they did. They got wind of the Berlin Wall being created and on like the 9th or something, and it went up on the 13th. And that's the day that Kennedy found out. Like the NSA found out about the wall and like the border being shut. And then like 4 days later, it got to the president.
Uh-huh.
And he sent all these, like he sent LBJ there, and he sent 5,000 troops. And the 5,000 troops, they couldn't fly in because it was like tension was too high. So they had to go up the corridor, and it was 99 miles long of American troops
Walking.
walking in vehicles, things like that.
Shit.
Like and they had to go through checkpoints and stuff, like essentially Russian checkpoints to get in. And then it was there for 30 years.
War is so fucking weird, man.
There's
How
like
it's-
protocol.
Yeah, how it's just all out death, and then also like, all right, we'll let you guys in while we.
Well, that was the
shake
weirdest
our
thing
finger at
about
you.
the weirdest thing about like NATO versus the USSR or like the Eastern Bloc was that they never actually fought. Like Vietnam was a proxy war, Afghanistan was a proxy war, Cuba essentially, like any of that
Korea.
stuff.
Yeah.
Those were all just like proxy wars where they're like, well, we're not going to fight each other, but like we're both going to get little like pawns over here to fight.
The puppets.
Yeah. Fun, made for great movies and music. But so yeah,
heroin and war
do
make good music.
Yeah, it helped.
Yeah.
I've never done either, so.
You've never been to war, dude?
You haven't been to war?
Never, haven't been to war, haven't.
What about with your sexuality? What about that constant battle you're fighting?
I've been trying to pray it away.
Okay, so 100,000 people tried to escape. 5,000 succeeded. 200 died attempting to escape. There's some pretty fun ones.
That's a pretty low number.
It was 70 miles of wall, 186 observation towers, 20 bunkers. I don't know why the bunkers are important. They kept on building the entire time. So they started with barbed wire, then they started with an initial wall. Then they realized that if you just got over the wall, that you were like free. So they built this thing called the Death Strip, which was just basically like a no man's land, no man's land, like between two walls, and it had like mines and nail strips,
alligators.
Yeah, it's like a moat in Super Mario Brothers.
Lava
pipes that lead to another dimension.
Turtle bombs. They probably were playing that game in like '88, being like, oh, "I wish we had a pipe." So you could also visit. Another weird thing about it was you could visit Eastern Germany and East Berlin from West Berlin. Like Americans could go to East Berlin. And there was a lot of escapes that were done by like somebody would have a diplomatic papers so they could say they were going to East Germany for like whatever business. And then they would put people in their trunk or some other way to get them out. There was a few escapes that worked like that. And it's funny because sometimes they would catch somebody trying to escape in the trunk of an American's car, and they would just take them out. They would send the American out, be like, hey, you can't come back in here. And then they would arrest the German trying to escape.
Yeah.
The first ever escape was that Conrad Schaumann guy jumping over the barbed wire, just jumping right over it. The first casualty was Ida Sickman, who just tried to jump out of her third floor apartment into
the other side.
Yeah, this is before they had the death strip. She just jumped out.
She tried to parkour.
She tried to parkour out.
Tuck and roll.
Yeah,
exactly, and just died. And then the first.
Not that high up.
I know. She just was a bad jumper.
Damn.
Fragile bones. She should have drank milk.
The first death was this.
That's what I tell all the Jews in German. Should just drank milk.
You guys should have drank more milk. You would have been good.
Yeah, this wouldn't have happened.
This could have been avoided if you just drank milk. I want everybody to know Wilfred started that joke, and we're just yes-anding him for comedy's sake. The first death by the Stasi German police was the 24-year-old tailor named Gunther Litvin, who was trying to swim across like a spit, like a small river between the two walls, and that was the day that they got the command to shoot people trying to escape. So he didn't get the memo that they started shooting, and he was like, I'll just swim across, and then they just shot him, and he was like,
his emails that morning.
Damn, if he just had a BlackBerry.
Yeah, if you had that, you shouldn't have turned notifications off, bro. I was on airplane mode. But there's a bunch of like, so basically for the 30 years, there's like insane, like kind of like just funny escape. Like Michael Finder and his dad, Willie Finder, they just told somebody on the other side they were going to jump out of their apartment building. And so all these people got on the other side with a net and they just jumped out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they made it.
That's what the fuck, Ida?
Yeah. Why didn't you tell somebody to get a beanbag?
Jesus Christ.
A trampoline on the other side.
She bounces back in. Oops. This guy
she lands and she's just having too much fun. And then they shoot her.
The Wolfgang Engels, he stole a Soviet personnel carrier and he just drove it right through the wall, and he got stuck. And the East and West German police started exchanging gunfire, and he just walked over the end of the personnel carrier into West Germany. He got out. There was hot air balloons. People got out via hot air balloon. People got out via zip line.
Wait, so they were just allowed to have a hot air balloon?
No, they built it.
Yeah, was that not?
They built a hot air balloon in their apartment and then just made it go.
But it takes forever for it to go.
Yeah, I don't think I'm assuming they did it was pretty clandestine,
Nobody got the a little paranoid when they ordered a 6-person basket.
Yeah. I have a lot of bread. I'm trying to make deliveries. Giant basket.
Yeah.
No, I need this. It came from Wayfair.
They let the kids go.
There was hang gliders. People did hang gliders across.
Wow.
Was any of this international news? Did any of this make news to the point where people were aware that this kind of thing
I think it was
happening?
pretty constant. Yeah. When somebody would escape, it would be big news.
Damn.
But the weird thing is that it's still, to me, that's weird, is that they're still in this island of in the middle of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So they're they escaped to this little circle of safe zone.
Right.
And they can somehow still get out, which is insane to me. That it would be freedom, that the Germans wouldn't or the Russians wouldn't just be
that's what I mean about
you
war.
Have to go get him.
Where it's the respecting of boundaries like that and the respecting of the one road out. It's it just doesn't compute for me that it's so vicious and also that.
Think the Revolutionary War, the way that we would line up and just fire at each other. It's so I can't believe no one thought of going from behind or before that.
Well, we were talking about
flanking. Yeah.
We were talking about that episode a couple times ago, which was just the English or French or whoever fighting the Native Americans for the first time and lining up and being all right, we're gonna fight, and them all just being all right, we're coming, we have arrows and horses, we're gonna run at you, we're gonna throw axes,
we're gonna take advantage of our athleticism.
Yeah.
There's also they're oh, we're gonna fight at 9:30.
Yeah.
And I'm why don't you just
and they
get
had
up
drummers. They had drummers. They're
I'm coming.
It was Drumline.
Yeah.
Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
Staring down the British version. Anyways, there was another one where there was those metal I don't know what you call for a parking garage, the little arm that comes down.
Oh yeah.
So these people just designed a sports car that was lower than the metal arm, and they just drove really fast and then all laid back like this, and they got out that way.
I don't get how these guys are getting away with so much shit.
How are they building all these devices?
They're just getting, because this is all stuff that I'm assuming should have been regulated by.
Well, I don't think it was
Russians.
quite it's we destroyed Germany, right? We absolutely annihilated it. We leveled. What's the town from Kurt Vonnegut? Slaughterhouse-5? Dresden. We literally we flattened an entire metropolitan, and so there wasn't a lot of regulation. They didn't really know how to stop everything from flowing back and forth. Borders were porous. They didn't have drones saying when people were coming back, and also there's stuff that's left over. So it's not this is probably 20 years after the war, so it's not there's Toyota Camrys in West Berlin and then a Yugo in East Berlin. It's they still kind of have the same quality of import export, things like that. And they got out through the sewers too. The most the turtles helped them out. April O'Neil set up an underground railroad.
They learned karate down there.
By the way, I just saw the new Ninja Turtles, and it is so fucking good. It is.
I saw it yesterday with my son.
Yeah.
And it's definitely the most violent thing he's ever seen in his entire life. But it was worth it because he is fired up all in.
It's hilarious.
Right now.
It's the best animation
excellent.
I've ever seen.
Yeah, dude, it was different than literally anything that they put out. It's
rough animation. It looks like Like you can see
but
scribbles.
so intricate and beautiful
Yeah.
too. It's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
The live actions were very pivotal movies
Yeah.
in my life.
Yeah. It's
Ernie Reyes Jr., Filipino guy.
oh yeah.
That
Yeah.
Kino?
He was the I don't know. He's the pizza delivery guy.
Yeah, Kino.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh yeah.
I know
There's
him by
only
name.
like 3 characters.
He's
Did he
in
play-
Surf Ninjas too.
Did he
Yeah,
play
yeah.
Rufio?
No, Rufio is Boscos, something Boscos.
Oh right, he
Hey.
played a turtle.
Dante
in the
Boscos.
Learn
he
your history.
played a
bro.
turtle in the first one.
Yes.
Kino.
Yeah. Kino did.
I think
yeah.
he played one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Dante doesn't know karate or whatever the fuck.
No, but he can swing from a vine with the best of them.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And pretend to eat food.
Remember, Roofy?
Yeah.
That wasn't racist.
Yeah.
I was like, well, all right. I was like, I'm not gonna.
It
Let's
sounded
clip
crazy.
that. Cut out that second part. And he can swing from a
That does
vine
sound nuts.
like a monkey.
You know, Filipinos are great, like monkeys. No, the most famous death was this guy Peter Fechter. He was trying to cross, and he got shot in the death strip between the 2 walls, and both sides could see him, and they just didn't help him. So he just laid there and died for like 2 days with the entire. Like the Western media had like cameras, like you could like they were like reporting on it live. They were like, this guy's dying right here.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
He's just like, help.
Yeah, it was literally like that. Ow! Ouch! Ow!
It's like Mustafa and Austin Powers.
Yeah.
I need help. I'm very badly burned.
It still hurts.
The last East German to be shot was Chris Githroy in 1989, and the last death was Winfried Freudenberg. Their hot air balloon crashed.
Oh, no.
Yeah, kind of on their own hands. During the GDR's existence in East Berlin, David Bowie, Bruce Springsteen, and David Hasselhoff did concerts over there.
I remember the Hasselhoff one.
On top of the wall, or where would
Yeah.
they do it?
They just got permission to go into East Germany, and it was like some of them were like on top of the wall.
Hasselhoff was on the wall.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It was for both. It was like a plea for a
What year
unified
was
Germany.
this?
1988 was Hasselhoff.
Oh, why do I remember
Bowie was
footage of
87.
He's like a mocked dude, but that's like pretty fucking
Well, he was like
badass.
the number one German
No, I know.
pop star.
But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
even the balls to do that as
to go up
anybody.
against it's so
Yeah.
funny. David Hasselhoff went up against the Soviet Union.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like he's just universally mocked, but it's like that is as badass.
It'd be
as it
fun
gets.
if we found out later on that he was just like the most murderous spy in U.S. history. That's
Well,
why
it's
he was so
I
yoked.
guess that's like a pre-Dennis Rodman moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just sent some goofy celebrity.
Except Dennis Rodman didn't have any affiliation with North Korea other than Kim Jong Un liked him, right?
Yeah. He loved the Bulls and he loved boozing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in 1962, Kennedy is obviously Ich bin ein Berliner. He goes and does a speech at the wall. Reagan goes there too. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
He's just looking at a wall like
Yes, Reagan just staring at a wall. It's got a drawing of Gorbachev on it. He thinks he's having a standoff. Mr. President, they're like, sir, you're looking at a concrete wall. Anyways, it all started to fall apart when there was a revolution in Hungary, and then there was a revolution in the Czech Republic and Poland. They weren't like immediately successful revolutions, but they started to show cracks in the Soviet Union because the Soviet Union was so bankrupt that they couldn't squash the revolutions. They didn't have the manpower or the resources to shut them down. So you started to see the Eastern Bloc kind of disintegrate. The Czech Republic, when they revolted, they actually did succeed. They just became an independent country that wasn't part of the USSR anymore. Lithuania actually revolted and the Russians came and invaded, but the Lithuanians just didn't comply. And so like Russians would like just shoot people that were just standing there. And then I think they killed like a total of maybe 40 people. And they're like, we can't just keep shooting people for standing around. So eventually they just gave up.
that is like the only like story of just like people having like morals that I've
Yeah.
ever heard of in war.
Here's something crazy. When they when the Baltic states pleaded for sovereignty, they did this thing called the Peaceful Revolution, which is they held hands across all 3 countries. They made a human chain that went from Lithuania to Estonia.
Yeah.
It was like 50 or 75 miles long.
That's one of those pause moments.
But it's funny. It's so funny when they do something like that, and Moscow's like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah. Wow. That
Cool.
really touched us.
Oh no, they're holding hands.
Yep, they got us.
Yeah. Just now you're in a line. We can kill you all easy.
Yeah, we could get through that with a good game of Red Rover. Get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah, we'll just send a linebacker to you.
So it basically, when it started to fall, the first thing that happened was that Hungary did this thing called the Pan-European Picnic, which they took down the border for a picnic. So people could come and go into Hungary for this picnic, and a bunch of East Germans just went to Hungary and then just walked into Austria. That's like one of the first fuck-ups that they made. And then there was like a couple other like miscommunications. But the final miscommunication was literally how it happened was the leader of the East German, the GDR, was like, I think we should open it up back to kind of free travel between the two in Berlin. And he wrote a memo, and the guy who went on the news was like a secretary for him, and he just didn't, he literally had a piece of paper that he'd never read before. Somebody handed it to him, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I guess we can travel back and forth between the two."
Literally effective immediately.
That's literally so a reporter goes, "And when is this effective?" And he goes, "I mean, I guess immediate." Like you can watch the news clips on YouTube. And so then people just went to the wall, and all the border guards were like, "You can't go." And then they're like, "No, like check the news."
Yeah.
And they just opened the gates. And as soon as they open gates, it's basically just the fall of 2 years later, Russia became like Russia, not the Soviet Union. But it was like they also, the second they opened the gate, like a party erupted along the entire Berlin Wall, and people just started tearing it down. Like without any kind of like, there was no like, okay, like we're gonna reunify, or like a vote, or like a UN thing. They opened the gates and people just started tearing the wall down.
What the fuck were they tearing it down with though? Like battering
their
rams?
cars, axes, and picks,
That's
and
crazy.
bullshit like that. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Not like today, we tear it down with tweets.
Right.
yep. They probably
Tweets,
tweeted something
comments.
so mean, and the wall just was like, "Ow!"
You know what? You're right.
I am embarrassed. It just sinks into the ground.
I did it. It's a non-binary TikTok dance, and the wall just cracks.
The dead zone grows bushes and beautiful flowers. Like after a fire.
Birds start landing on people's shoulders.
Just a bunch of the ugliest people dancing. Doing a coordinated dance, and it's like Care Bear care coming out of their stomach, and the walls just Man, I love activism.
Yeah.
That's the whole wall story.
Yeah, that's the Berlin Wall, and that's why you get to wear that cool shirt.
That's right.
And that's why we don't have a Soviet Union anymore.
What do you think about it all?
I think I'm for it.
What year did the wall go up?
I don't know. It came down in '89 though. Remember that?
All right, that's
Damn,
half a point. You don't
Damn,
get
are you asking me? Are you quizzing me on what we just learned?
Yeah.
Damn it, dude. I have far too much THC swimming in my system for me to take all of that in.
That's one credit you don't get to plug. Okay, how many sectors?
4
4.
quadrants.
And who were they?
Oh man, it was France, England, U.S., USSR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, that's
Sick.
I
good.
didn't know that.
All right.
All right, that's one plug you get back. I don't want to ask any more questions. Thank you for coming on, Mike.
Thanks for
this
having
is
me.
really
This
fun.
This is great.
Do you have any things? Obviously, here's the scenario that you do with two people that we don't
lovely.
want to support.
No, do not plug them
Yeah.
individually. I'm on the road all over the place, so MikeCannonComedy.com for that. I I'm all over the place. So
When is you and Chris's TV show coming out?
that already came out, and then Vice also went bankrupt. So now that show is looking for a new home.
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hell
Congrats.
yeah.
We'll
So
see.
if
Thanks.
any of our listeners want to buy a show,
That's
Yeah.
right. I think it's on Hulu now.
What's it called?
Super Maximum Retro Show
Awesome.
with Chris DiStefano.
Our friend
Oh, yeah.
Gavin Matz was a guest.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. It was super fun. So
Maximum Retro.
it is. It is.
And shout out Brooklyn Bull. What's your wife's company?
Oh, Buds of Brooklyn.
Buds of
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. Shout out your upcoming baby.
I know. Yeah.
So excited.
Thank you everybody who came. And sorry to the entire Asian race for not inviting a representative.
Not one. I would have came with a suit and an American flag or a Filipino flag pin.
I know. You would have brought a day's worth of lumpia for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, we fucked it up. I'm sorry. We'll throw another one, and you're invited.
Oh yeah. Are you guys gonna have another one?
No.
Yeah. It's not.
Oh, another kid?
Yeah.
No, Jesus Christ, I would never. I mean, your pregnancy was probably somewhat decent because your wife comes from like a similar tax bracket from you. My wife is so mad that she has to feel uncomfortable. She is every day, and it's all my fault, by the
Yeah.
way. It's
Yeah.
like she just like wakes me up at 4 a.m. and she's like, "Hey, dumbass, I need a popsicle." And I'm like,
Fuck. If there was a way that you could have carried this baby, it would have happened.
"Oh, yeah, it wouldn't
100%.
even have been a choice."
Yeah.
I would have all of my road dates would have been. I would have been put in a cryogenic chamber. I wouldn't even have made the decision. I would have
Yeah.
just been hit over the head by a lawyer from Texas, and then I would have grown a
We'd
baby
have to
in
do
my.
a podcast at whatever laboratory you're in.
It grows in my butt, so I'm like suspended,
Yeah, you're just floating in water.
floating like what's his name, Stellan Skarsgård in Dune. All right, this is the Known Zone. Thank you guys so much for coming out and
Mike
listening to
Cannon.
this.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Mike Cannon. Check us for road dates. I think this comes out too late for Texas, so don't worry about that. But there's a chance that you might be able to make Bottle Rocket Comedy in Baltimore, Maryland, September 2nd. I'll be there. And yeah, that's it. You got anything you want to plug?
No.
Okay, go Arsenal. Bye.